And it'll be interesting to see how do they approach it. Same writers, new director, Christopher Landon. And my guess is that they're going to kind of follow the trend of incorporating elements of the previous Scream films into this installment, right? Scream 5, we saw Scream 96, Scream 7, or Scream 6, we saw Scream 2, and then so on and so forth, right? So Scream 7 probably will incorporate Scream 3 in some capacity, right? What is that capacity? How will they go about it? Will they have the long-lost sibling or something like that? I sure hope not. I really hope that's not the direction they go. I don't think we need that route again. But they could do something that Scream 3 really kind of alluded to and was originally supposed to take place, and that was in regards to Angelina. So originally, Angelina was supposed to be the other killer, right? She and Roman were supposed to be the team. That was how it was supposed to play out. That entire film of Scream 3 was shot as if that was the case, right? I mean, it's the only other option because Roman literally teleports in several moments throughout that film, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense unless there were multiple killers. And even Angelina's death, there's a lot of questions about it, and many people believe that she is alive, well, and could potentially return. And maybe that's the approach, right? Maybe they have Angelina return in Scream 7, right? Like, that would be a big shocker. That would be a big sort of full circle turnaround. You have somebody that's directly tied in. You can make the connection to Billy Loomis and all that stuff, because originally, in the original script, Angelina was supposed to have been in like the same classes and stuff as Sidney Prescott. Like, she knew Sidney very well. They just didn't really recognize each other because all the time passed. But she was kind of having this obsession with Sidney, which they kind of played in a little bit in Scream 3, right? You see in the scene where she's like, oh my God, Sidney, I'm you, right? Like that whole thing. So now I don't necessarily think that they'll bring back Angelina Tyler. If they do, cool, right? I mean, execution is everything. Depends on how the approach goes. But could they do something similar in the sense of like, okay, you have what is perceived to be one killer throughout, right? And it's just all these things are kind of being partaken in. You have this other person that's kind of sus, kind of like, are they involved? Are they not? You know, whether it's a male, female, whatever, like, okay, like, you know, is this person a part of what is going on? And then, you know, maybe they are part of the heroics at the end or whatever. And then at the tail end, when all is said and done, maybe it's revealed that like, oh no, they were involved the whole time, right? Or maybe you have some element or some clue that maybe the characters become privy to, or maybe it's not even maybe the characters don't notice it, but we as an audience notice it, right? Maybe it's something in passing, right? That a ghost face said to one of the victims or something, right? And it's like that character is like, oh yeah, you know, whatever, and they just kind of take it as like a throwaway line, and they're like, oh yeah, that would be crazy, right? Like, you know, but hey, you know, it's over, it's done, blah, blah, blah. But to us, to an audience, we're all like, oh, like she was the one that talked to, or, you know, he was the one that talked to whatever, you know, Chad when he died or something like that, right? And it's just kind of like this light bulb moment for an audience. And then it kind of leaves this mystery of like, okay, are they going to continue more films? Was that like, you could even make it to where like that was the plan all along, where like she was kind of involved and she wanted to be the one killer that got away, right? That could be something that'd be pretty cool, right? Like they were involved, they were part of it. They wanted to see the plan go through. Maybe the plan goes through, right? And because the plan went through, that allows this person to kind of just walk off into the sunset, and it's like this ominous ending, right? And you could still have like a full conclusion, right? Because I see a lot of people are really split whenever I talk about like a cliffhanger type ending, but it just feels like it's something that is inevitable to happen at some point. The Scream franchise is going to have some inconclusive ending that likely carries over. But even if they don't, right? Like they could have something where you have like this solo killer in like a Roman-esque way, which would make like a homage or something. And you have like this tie-in and you have this full circle and, you know, the story plays out however it plays out. And then that's when you have like at the tail end, the conclusion, the happy ending, everyone's living their best life, all is good. They're ready to ride off into the sunset. And then this one character says or does something that we as an audience go, oh, no way. Like, you know, that could be something that could be pretty interesting, right? And be something that I think could tie in. So you wouldn't have like a full cliffhanger, but you could have like a moment or like a sort of like something that could bleed into a previous film, right? It's not like something, you know, maybe this person doesn't even really want Sam dead or anything like that, right? Maybe they even saved Sam a couple times and they just wanted to like help execute this specific plan. And if Sam was a casualty, she was a casualty. She wasn't, she wasn't. Get what I'm saying? Like, you could have different approaches to it, but they're going to tie Scream, as much as I don't want it to happen, they're going to tie some elements of Scream 3 into Scream 7, right? I don't know why we would think otherwise. I was optimistic. I thought that they wouldn't do that for Scream 6. I thought, you know, hey, Scream 5, okay, that was the fan film. That was the Wes Craven tribute. That was a little homage. I still don't think that they needed to kind of handcuff themselves to the past as much as they did. I think you could have told that entire story without Sam being, Billy's daughter. You knew she was, just by the age, you knew that she was involved. You could have had some connection to Scream 4 or something and just had like a direct sequel or something like that, right? And basically played out the entire movie. And Richie could have still been obsessed and wanted to make the films. And because Sam is his girlfriend and has the connection to Woodsboro and whatever, that's why he wanted to kill her, right? Like, that's why he wanted to make her the new Sydney. Because it's just like, well, she has connections and tie-ins to Scream 4, you know, whatnot. You could have done it several ways, right? But they nonetheless did that. Okay, fine. Scream 6, can we get some new creativity? Can we get some new story? And in a lot of ways they did. I'm not saying it was like Scream 5 was more of a carbon copy than Scream 6 was, right? But they did kind of implement still the whole family members, which again, like, you didn't have to make them Richie's family. Like, you could have went about it several ways. Like, you could have even just had the brother and sister, right? And yes, it's similar, but at least it's a little different. Or, you know, it's more so the order in which they're following, right? It's not like Scream 9 was Richie's revenge or something like that. Richie's family's revenge, where it's like, okay, well, at least they didn't do it in chronological order. Like, no, they're literally doing it in chronological order. So you would imagine that Scream 7 is going to kind of follow the same way. My hope is that Sam doesn't have some like brother or something like that, or they make it like a cousin or something like that. I'm hoping it's something completely different. And I think that one of the ways that you could go about it is, instead of having like a Roman-esque character, you could keep it simple, like name a character Roman, right? And then have him be like a major red herring throughout the course of the film and have us believe that it's him. And then he ends up dying towards the end. And then we all just come to the conclusion, oh, it's got to be somebody else, right? Like, that could be a nice little subtle tongue-in-cheek homage. Or, you know, maybe there's a movie involved, but it's not in Hollywood. Maybe the opening scene is in Hollywood or something like that. Like, there's ways you could go about this without kind of just blatantly ripping off Scream 3. But the other way is, like I said, I think you have like almost two killers working independently, but they're still kind of working together. They just have like two separate motives. I think that that's something that could work. I think that that's something that you could make sense if you could tie it together. And then you just have that last one, the other one, kind of get away with it. And then you could even have the betrayal, right? Because they usually betray each other at some point, right? So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the betrayals part, where she becomes, or he or whomever becomes the betrayal, and they end up putting the final nail in the coffin or whatever, or maybe the killer's about to say something, right? Maybe Sam takes the killer out and the killer's about to say, like, you know, oh, well, you know, watch out for my accomplice or something like that. She's about to say, or, you know, they're about to say something, and boom, like that Angelina Tyler type character comes in and finishes them off before they could say what they were going to say. And then it's kind of like, you know, oh, like, you know, thank you. And they're like, you know, whatever. You have that awkward moment for a second. And then it's like, well, you know, at least he's dead, right? Like, perfect. There you go. Now you have like the ride off to the sunset. And we as an audience know that this person's involved. If they want to continue and have future films, you can incorporate that character, start fresh, you can do different things. I think it just would kind of leave things a little ominous, but you could, again, you could still have the full circle. Like, you could still have the closure. You could still have a lot of the things that you'd imagine that they'd want to have in this 7th installment. And I don't think they're going to stop at 7, right? If 7 is successful as 5 and 6 were, I imagine that they keep going. Maybe they take a little hiatus, but I think that they'll keep going. Whether it's with the same characters or they end up using newer characters. I don't know. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. How do you feel? What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have, like, an Angelina type character where, you know, she was originally supposed to be involved but wasn't? And, like, again, it's kind of like a if you know type connection, which I always think are very interesting. And then, you know, a lot of people will continue to become privy to it as time goes on. I think that that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, love your thoughts, opinions. Let me know. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things Scream, to this wonderful community, and all of our discussions. See you all in the next one. Thank you.